It's episode 8 of The Good. Welcome to The Good, and today my guest is Donna Kastrati, as we were laughing now with the Norwegian accent. Donna, welcome, and I'm so happy to have you here finally. I wanted to talk to you on the podcast for so long. Donna is the founder of the female business community, and I think it's such a beautiful tool for women to connect and get support from one another. So welcome, and tell me about yourself. Tell me about what you do and all of the things interesting, and we're going to dive more into other aspects.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for having me. So my name is Donna, and I'm the founder and CEO of Her, which is a platform that gathers female founders, investors, leaders, as well as just ambitious women who want to do something more. And we work closely with different sectors, different businesses, and yeah, it's a very, very giving job.
Every time I see you, and most of the time I see you, it's like doing a speech on the stage, or always very ready and very presented 100%. And I know it takes a lot of energy and effort. How do you do it?
Takes a village. Well, yeah, that's a good question. How do I do it?
I think the context is, I'm going to also give a bit more context because it's English language podcast.
Yeah.
And we're in Oslo, Norway. And the community that you have of female business entrepreneurs, would you say it's all mainly local, all Norwegian, or not?
No, we definitely have a good mix of Norwegian and other nationalities in Her. And most of people are located in Oslo because this is where our base is, and this is where we are working to gain traction before we go out to the rest of Norway and as well as the rest of the world. But yeah, definitely working to build the business in Oslo. But we have actually been in a few other cities in Norway as well to have some networking events and conferences.
I think the context of also Norway and entrepreneurship, for people who haven't experienced life in Norway, it's not very, and I'm saying that as someone who's been here for now 9 years, and I used to live before in the UK, where the culture is very much, it's like everyone should try and do entrepreneurship, try and do business. It's like, it's just the excitement of it is there and been there for many, many years, and it's part of the culture, whereby I feel in Norway, perhaps it's changing, but the culture is not so entrepreneurial. How do you see it as someone who is dealing with this community?
Well, first of all, I can relate because I also moved to Norway in 2005, so I've been here for 20 years. But I grew up with a mom who was an entrepreneur, so I guess I had it from being a child. But coming here, it was a very safe space where everyone just grows up and goes to work, and it's a very different vibe for sure. And I think because Norway is a very rich country in oil and gas, so but that is now running out. So I think entrepreneurship is definitely up and coming now also. So the culture will change, I think, and we have seen a big change since COVID until now. But yeah, it's something that needs to be taught now.
Yeah. Because I feel the wonderful part of entrepreneurship is the stimulation of new ideas, new spark, something that changes society or life, usually with a businesses that make it happen. It changes life to the better for others, and that's how business operates. That's how business then can make money, because people willing to pay for it, for that change. And I feel with business in Norway, through my prism again and back to myself, it's almost to have that entrepreneurial spirit and go for it here, even though the work area is like, as you said, safe space with the work, and yeah, you go to work, you do this, and you have good work-life balance. But with entrepreneurship, it's so different here because it's not cultivated even with the government and structures. So to be a business person, whether woman, man, in Norway, if you don't have much business experience, is actually quite tricky, because you have to be able to navigate yourself in that system that is so well set up for the employee, but not so much for the, I would say, business owner. And with the businesses that you, with the community that you have, what kind of environment or things you provide to your members? So how does that work?
Well, what we see is that community obviously is one of the biggest things that people are seeking, because if you are an entrepreneur in Norway, and if you're a female entrepreneur in Norway, you're going to be alone in your circle, because most people they have the normal 9-to-5 jobs. So just by being that, you're putting yourself in a situation where you're mostly alone and doing this thing that nobody understands. And why would you do that? Why wouldn't you just take a job? It's so much easier. So
and it is
easier, yeah. So by just doing that, you are you stand alone. So by providing this community and the having the networking around being an entrepreneur and facing those same problems and challenges that other people also face as they build their own business, I think that's one of the biggest things right now that we are providing, and that we see that our members need.
Do you feel that having that background, international background, that you're not from Norway, you're not born here at least,
Yeah.
do you feel it helped you, or it was an obstacle?
I think it's both, because in some ways definitely an obstacle, but in most ways I would say it's a very good thing, because I come from a culture, from a home of very like loud family and warmth, and everyone is like rooting for each other, and to like unhealthy point sometimes, but bringing that into Norway and to this like shy community, I think that just really helped me, at least, to not put like any barriers around me, and do the things that I think a lot of people would like to do, but they don't have maybe the courage. So maybe that kind of works like a extra push for some of the people around me, I think.
Do you see much of the Jenteloven in business, and how do you see it, and if you can explain what it is?
Yeah. So Janteloven is basically just like our brain. Janteloven is not special for Norway. Everyone in the whole world have those negative thoughts about themselves. They have they're insecure, and they're afraid, and they feel shame and all these things. But in Norway, it's more like a very like
cultural base, because don't think. Well,
don't think you're something
better, or something that basically don't stand out from the crowd.
Yes, so that's definitely something that people in Norway, I think it's a shame. They feel it to their bone, and how we see this is that they get really insecure about their business, and they get insecure about going out meeting people and seeking opportunities, and they're really scared of people rejecting them, because they already have this belief that they're not good enough. So that's really sad, and hopefully we're helping change that.
If you can share, how did you start this business? I mean, what was the
Her.
what was the click, you know?
Yeah.
I'm gonna do it on my own. I'm gonna become this entrepreneur,
Yeah.
and I'm gonna create the space for other women.
Well, then I'd have to take you back to my first business, which was in 2017. I used to be a shop manager at Michael Kors. I was working with bags, actually. And when I got pregnant, I went out on a maternity leave. And that was like my chance to kind of be creative and had the time off that I usually never would have given myself even. So I started this clothing brand, which was called Little Kingdom, and it was matching clothes for moms and dads and babies and, you know, the whole family. And in 2020, so in 2019, I opened a store, and in 2020, COVID came. And I had to close the store, obviously.
It's such a difficult retail time.
Yes. So I guess my next step from that was, first it was like a few months with the crisis and like crazy. And after that, I just emailed all my customers. And I was like, does anyone want to start a business?
Wow.
Because I knew that there were a lot of moms that I had as customers who were sometimes asking me, how did I start this store? How did I start this business? And I was like, maybe there's something that I don't know. And then obviously it was COVID. A lot of people lost their jobs and a lot of people were staying at home. So I did get a few customers, and that just kind of started there. And then in 2022, the end of 2022, I was doing really good with Hundetablerer. I was doing marketing and branding for businesses, and I had a lot of amazing big clients. And then I was just not feeling as if that was giving me anything.
When you're saying Hundetablerer, so this is her, but that was
Before,
already,
yeah.
but that was already your business.
Yes.
That was the first, basically,
Pre her.
before her. Okay.
So yeah, in 2022, like the end of the year, I won a prize, which was called the Growth Business of the Year by TripleX. And that kind of kicked the idea of taking like Hundetablerer to the next level, which was to help, you know, more of those small businesses and the women who had those dreams. Because working as a consultant, I was helping big businesses, and that wasn't really doing much for me. I was doing much for them, but not for me personally. So yeah, I decided to go from a few millions in revenue to just like cut everything down and then like restart with her the whole
the whole thing. And
whole thing.
Basically, if before you more, as you mentioned, targeted the businesses and the C-suite execs and kind of that audience, so now you want to talk to mom again, right? To the mom who wants to, who feels like she changed her life. I mean, she became a mom, or maybe became a mom again, and she feels the old her is no longer the right version, and she's wanting to step into entrepreneurship.
Well, we definitely have a lot of moms, but we also have a lot of young people, young women who have big dreams and are starting out. And that's what, like, how her started in the beginning. It was just like those people with ideas and just like who were starting out. And now that we have established that and we have everything in order for that, now we are working with leaders as well as investors and a lot of different, I guess, levels, you could say. But we started out with the people, with just the dream. Yeah.
Do you feel right now where you are with the business and how you are, is it fueling you, or is it where on the things goes through different paths, up and down, then the growth? Is it now taking more energy from you, or is it now actually that machine that maybe you give and you feel like you're charging up from
Yeah,
it.
definitely the last one, because we just actually we launched in Women's International Day last year, and now it's been 1 year. So coming up to that, we just had to like reflect back and see. It was definitely a lot of work that it took to get here now, but now we are at this point where there's so many people connected to her. We do have many co-founders. We do have investors coming in without even searching for them. And we do have just the product selling much easier, which is really interesting, because I feel like from September, October last year, 24, up until now, it's just been like a really, obviously up and down every day, but it's been a really like fueling, and a very giving job. Like I said in the beginning, it's just, you see these things fold, and you see these women actually go for the ideas that they have, and form connections, and collaborate with other members that we have. So that's a very nice part of our job, is to see that, and see the spark in their eyes, and even like see them coming in and they don't even know where to go. And like I had a conversation today with one of them. She has an amazing business. Her revenue is like 20 million Norwegian kronas. She's all alone. She has no idea what she's doing. She's like all over the place, and just like bring her into her and give her, access to other founders who are feeling this exact same thing. So we definitely have, like I said, different levels, but even to be able to help the ones that are students and just have this little maybe business dream, as well as the women who really are doing well, and they all kind of need each other. So that's what we're doing.
On that, thank you so much for bridging into my life quite a few people. So today for the first time, I met Lila as well, who you connected, and with the things that you do, day to day with her, and that community, as you mentioned, and understanding, because where you are in that position of knowing your members, as I understand, and your network very well, you're like, oh, okay, well, this woman seems very... And it was like today I was talking to Lila, and it was like, well, there are so many. Yeah, I see how Donna says, yeah, that's definitely check. This is, wow, these worlds are definitely colliding. And it does give that extra feeling, as you said, you're not alone, and somebody shared that experience that is quite similar in places, and you feel you can build up that closeness with the relationship with this new person faster. And especially as our life, we were talking today about a very good life balance of life in Norway, yet everyone is so busy. There are so many things, the motherhood, the business, the life, all of that. And to have that shortcut, because that's what it is. When you have this community, it's like, okay, well, yes, I can meet these people, but how many hoops I need to do around, this blog building that to come across that person, or I can rather go and join community and kind of get straight into that with people who are already like-minded.
Yeah, and that is always the best way to build a business, is to build connections and communities around it. That's always, business has always been people, but I think in this day and age of like all digital everything, it's even more important to actually like meet and talk, and put the phone up and call people, not just send an email or DM. So I think that's really important, and that's a philosophy that I bring into her as well, because every member that signs up to our membership, which is called Her Elevate, we have a call with them.
That's very nice.
So we want to know them. We want to instantly my brain will go, oh, I'll link you with this and this and that, and you know, and then we just do it right away. And then,
Which I can see is like you got the spark in your eyes, like
Yeah.
and I'm gonna put this one into that, and that's beautiful. And I think when we do any activities that create, you know, energy within us, that is like
Yeah.
really sparks and basically creating more energy that you can bring into this world when you show up as whoever you are, as a leader, as a friend, as a partner, as a mom. All of this, it just makes life more playful and full of joy.
Yeah.
I'm gonna dig in a bit just to get more context from you,
Yeah.
with your other aspects of your life. I know last time when we spoke briefly, you mentioned that you had to separate with your partner. You have kids, and you're also a businesswoman, and all of that. I understand some family back in another country.
Yeah.
So I know things change with time. Where are you now with yourself, with your kids?
Yeah. Well, it's been I think 2024 was a very hard year, and looking back, it's just I'm like sometimes I'm like I don't even know how I got here from there, because. And even if someone tells me they're separated now, it's just a whole different understanding, because before I'd be like, oh, that's so sad, you know, and now it's just like all these elements of like, you know, economy and everyday life and everything is just such an extra struggle. But yeah, definitely not single anymore. So.
Okay, congratulations.
So life is back to new routines, I would say, but. It was like I was single for a year, and that was a lot longer than I would have liked.
But also with the kids and then co-parenting. Tell me about your kids.
I have two daughters.
Two daughters.
Yeah, they're 6 and 8, and you know, even though we had our issues and things, I think the kids were never. You know, an issue, and co-parenting was never an issue because we put them first, so everything worked, and then we would not agree on everything else, but we were just like always be there for the kids and always celebrate their birthdays and be there for the important school days, even though we maybe didn't want to see each other. We were just there, and sometimes people would be like, are you really separated? Because, you know, we were like really good at just like doing things for the kids, and yeah. So I think that was one of the things that I think back, and I think that's a really good. I'm really like happy and lucky that was the case, because I know that sometimes, and I can also confirm that the person that you get with and you marry is not the person you separate from. Like those are two different people, and then you think you know them, and then you don't at all, because it's just other issues, other, you know, things you have to talk about. So yeah, that was really hard to navigate, but now we're in a good place, and everything works out. So that's
I'm really glad to hear, and I think the reason why I'm asking, of course, being nosy, but I also think that giving people a context, because sometimes that adversity that happens in life at that precise moment feels like the world is collapsing, and it is too.
It for sure was, and I think especially like the economy aspect, because I know that for women especially, that usually is a big issue, because most women they become a stay-at-home mom to stay you know, longer with the kids before you stand, and then you just like don't have the same rights whenever you're gonna be alone, and to get a loan for buying a place and, you know, stuff like that. So for me, I was like, you know, because I had a great salary, I was like, that's not gonna be an issue, I'm gonna fix it. And then that was hell. So I can only imagine, because I also grew up with a mom who was a single mom, and she had to work all the time. And now it just makes so much more sense, like all her hard work. And
why did she work so long?
Yeah, for sure.
When you say you didn't think it would be a problem for you, like economical side, so what actually felt like hell? Which part of it? The reality that it's now single income, or how?
Well, that, and because together we had, let's say, like expenses of 50, 60,000 kronas per year, per month. And going from that to being one person, that doesn't cut in half. The expenses are like 10% less, maybe.
Right.
And so we had to sell. We did have apartments that we rented out, and we had to sell those. And I was like holding on to dear life for like not to sell the cabin and like buying him out of that. And then that was every day I would question my choice. It was like, why did I do this? Like maybe I should just sell it. And then holding on to everything at the same time as your body and your brain is just not in the same place that it used to be, like when you're in a good place and you're healthy and working. And obviously because I have my company, it was us, I was able to go on a sick leave and like take some time for myself, which was great. But then the business was not working, obviously, because I wasn't there. So what are you going to go back to?
Yeah. Which is another hurdle of entrepreneurship.
Yes.
Which is a wonderful thing that you can create a business, but also to create a business that you can detach yourself from, to have that business which that takes time and effort.
That takes time, yeah. And for me, it was the worst timing, because 2023 was just like starting and planning and everything with her. And then that's when we broke up and he moved out. And then this whole year was like, and then we had to move dates, and wasn't able to launch when I wanted to and things like that. So everything came in a very bad time, and as it, I'm sure, always is for everyone. So
exactly, I think it's very good. Even I think many women know you from that power position.
Yeah,
it's just to shed light to the fact that you went through your struggles, and through the moments of difficulty, and there is the other side, which I'm glad to see that you're on that other side. It's always fun. And I think the message to you meet a lot of entrepreneurs, female entrepreneurs, also probably generally entrepreneurs.
Yeah.
For somebody wanting to make that step from that safe place of, well, I have a job, I have career, I have some dreams, but janteloven, and I'm not good enough, and I've never run a business, and everyone failing and bankrupting, and I don't know how to find that courage, where to start.
Well, I would say find the people, first of all, who are like-minded, who are actually people who do these things on a daily basis, because you kind of like get inspired, and maybe you'll pick up some tips and some extra courage as well. But I think be smart about it. If you have a good idea, you don't have to quit your job and then just like do that. You really don't have, like, you can always start with something. And we have a lot of women at her, like doctors, different people who do different things and have full-time jobs, who are just like starting out with her, coming to our events and like talking to people and like doing the research while they're still at their job. And then this way it feels safer, and it feels, because we talk about women not taking risks. I mean, I know a lot of women who take a lot of risk, but sometimes it's just calculated risk. It's just like smart risk. So I think that's what I would say. Just start exploring it while you're working as a hobby, and then you'll see.
Thank you for your advice. And on that note, it's very exciting community that you have. And for somebody who maybe just never heard about it, or just discovering and want to just maybe dip their toe in or
Yeah.
explore it. I was thinking maybe we can offer something,
Yeah.
and I will put the information in the links below. And if you can share what is, I think, because that connection is something I've learned through very long time and pain, and being an outsider, also the language barrier and cultural barrier, and I met wonderful people, including yourself, and I feel when I expand myself through that network, it just gives me energy, and outside of energy, it gives me possibilities, and I can see it's like, oh, I can open that door, and that door can lead me somewhere else. So I'm just trying to get something from Donna for the new members to come and join.
Well, yeah, I mean, I'm happy to share like maybe a 50% discount for our Connect membership, which is like it's a very like low key connection. It's like networking membership, and that's usually like 999 krunas per year, which is a very low price.
Very low.
But we can do that also even cheaper. And it's interesting because we were talking earlier, and I know that it would be much easier if I would say, we'll offer you a month free and then we'll lock you in. But at the same time, I also want women to understand that we need to invest and we need to commit if we're going to do something. Because at Her, what I'm really happy about and I take pride on is that we have members who, are very committed. They're very engaged. Because they have invested like thousands of krunas, and they feel like they have to come to our events. They have to use everything that we offer in order to get value for the money. And that's the correct mindset.
I can't agree more, because it's on my own path with things. Sometimes things, even when you have the most amazing jewel in front of you that is just given to you, you're just as a human being unable to value it.
Yeah.
And it's really a wonderful and generous offer. Thank you so much. And I'm so excited for our listeners who decide to join, because if you're an entrepreneur, if you're already on the path or you're starting, this is definitely that extra network, extra boost. That will just give you that extra things that you need, and to get you on your successful track even more.
Yeah, and like I said earlier, we have so many sectors. We have women in health sector, technology, in beauty industry. There's so many like different kind of women, different kind of businesses. So it's really easy to find someone that you will find some kind of connection to collaborate or to, and just have as a contact whenever you need something. So,
brilliant. Yeah. Thank you, Donna, so much for today, and just thank you for coming on the podcast.